Frances.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. How does it feel to watch the film with an audience? Your directorial debut. Are you watching the film? Are you watching the audience's reaction?
I mean, it's so lovely watching the audience's reaction. I think like we screened it at the Toronto Film Festival about 3 weeks ago. It was the first time we'd ever screened it for a full audience, and there were like 1,000 people, and it was just lovely to
Wow.
hear people. I know, it was just like no pressure, and but it was just lovely to hear people get all the jokes that I'd kind of put into the script, and there were two girls in front of me who at the end of the film were crying, and it's that kind of thing. It's kind of feels quite magical and kind of like a little bit of a personal miracle that this story that you wrote, that people like it and are relating to it. It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've been sitting with it for a decade as well. Why
Well, I
this
was
story?
working. Could be that I'm just a very lazy person.
Not at
I came
all.
up with the idea a decade ago, but I kind of worked on it in between acting gigs, and then I kind of got serious about it about 4 years ago and really started workshopping the script and working with the script editor, um, and it kind of, that also kind of coincided with the Me Too movement. So there was kind of an opportunity. People were more into giving a woman a chance as well, I think, for this. So it kind of all lined up perfectly. But it is great to sit with an idea for a long time, because you keep kind of returning to it and thinking about it in different ways. But I definitely want to write, well, I have written my next thing, and it definitely didn't take 10 years.
Well, that's exciting. You can't tell us too much about that, can you?
Not yet. But
Okay. I'm looking forward to it
oh,
though.
cool.
You've said that you want this film to speak to young people. Can you tell me
Yeah.
about that?
I mean, because like when I was growing up as a young woman, I always felt like the person that I really was, and then who I was expected to be. Not in my home. I grew up with a house full of girls. But when you get out into the world, you were kind of expected to be a certain thing, and um, I wanted to write a story about someone who was kind of in that dynamic, and I feel like that really was Emily Bronte, and so I felt like to explore some of those themes that I related to as a young person, and to kind of bring that out to this new generation of women and men. I just thought maybe it's something that would appeal to them, and yeah, hopefully they could see themselves reflected back in the movie. Yeah, is the idea.
You're a very accomplished actor, so you're used to being on sets.
Yes.
But Frances, what's it like turning up to the set on your first day as a director? How's that feeling?
It's kind of nerve-wracking, because I've been on sets my whole life, and sometimes you'll look at what the director's doing and you'd be like, I wouldn't put the camera there. And what's funny is like that when you're on the other side of the lens, there's a moment where you go to direct the actors, and you're an actor too, and they're like, oh really, you're going to direct me? And but it only lasts a minute, and then everyone kind of gets into it, and it's fine. But it is kind of, you do feel like you've just stepped off the cliff and your little legs are kind of, yeah, it's all good.
Were there some days though, because you were filming in Yorkshire, I'm like, oh my God, I get why you had to film there, but were there some days where you went, really, what are we doing? It's pissing down with rain. This is not the day I want to be here. And I'm the one who has to control the ship.
I know, yeah, the rain days were not good. But yeah, no, there was one day where it rained the whole day. So you're out in it and you've got wet weather gear on, but you're still soaked. And then you're still working at 2 o'clock in the morning, still wet from the rain. But you know what? You forget about it. It's like having a baby. After you film it, you just forget how painful it was to make it. I think that's how people make a second film.
Well, look, it helped that you had a great cast. Tell me about casting Emma Mackie. She's brilliant.
She's really so brilliant in the role. I mean, my casting director said, oh, do you watch Sex Education? And I hadn't really watched the show. I knew my son was watching it. And so I watched a couple of episodes, and I thought there was something very intriguing about her. And she came in and read for us. And I just remember looking to Fiona Weir, our casting director, like she kind of just blew it out of the water, and was just, there's something about Emma, who she is as a person. She's very intelligent, and she's also has very feeling person, but very much her own person. So, and a lot of that kind of aligned with Emily in a way that was just quite exciting.